Alright guys, hello patrons, how you doing? So yeah, Sunday vlog. So I asked for your feedback a few weeks ago and via one of these, and you guys seem to be very keen on me doing something like that, so I've listened to your feedback and I'll be looking to do like a Sunday vlog just for patrons. It might be every week, it might be bi-weekly, it might be monthly, it just depends on time and family stuff. Also, of course, like I try and get done a Monday long play and review video every week for you guys, and Sunday's kind of my time, like especially right now on the Sunday morning, while I've got a bit of quiet time to get that finished and done. Ironically, probably won't be one tomorrow because Mrs. Xyphoe is going into hospital for an operation, so we're going to be preparing stuff today, and I'll be out all day tomorrow. And even if I did actually get it finished, I wouldn't have time in the evenings to sort of put it live, do the thumbnail, and give it a push over social media. I need to be concentrating on her, so probably no long play review video tomorrow. Apologies for that, but you get this today, so it's all good. So talking of posting on Patron, sorry. So yeah, I asked for your feedback on various bits and bobs. You guys seem to be quite happy with what I'm doing, which is cool. And you'd quite like a vlog like this, that's cool. So I tried to think of like more stuff to do for you guys, so as a little experiment. Some of you may have missed this post, but was it a couple of weeks ago? I posted something up about a Boulder Dash challenge, because we've been doing some Boulder Dash long plane reviews, and part 4 comes with a construction kit, and I gave you a challenge to basically design your own levels for me to play and beat on stream. I thought it'd be nice to get you guys involved with something. Patrons get first dibs at it and would see how many were interested in doing it and submitted stuff before talking to you guys and putting it live to, I don't know, people, my followers on Facebook and Twitter and Discord and all that kind of stuff. So far, no, I've not had any games from anyone, and that is totally fine. You guys decide whether you want to get involved with something I post on here or not. It's totally fine. It's just like me experimenting, trying to give you something back and get you involved in the channel. You choose to if you want to. You don't have to do anything at all. But some of you may have missed it, so it's hard for me to sort of spam on social media about this without sort of giving game away to non-patrons. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm going to leave it a week or two more, and if I don't get much sort of like caves and stuff like that for me to play, then that's fine. I'll open it up to like everyone else who subscribes to the channel and all that. But just an experiment. I'll try more different little experiments over time on Patreon. Just it's trying to give back to you and get you involved and make you feel, you know, like you're properly part of things and all that kind of stuff. But I'm happy doing like a Q&A here as well, which I posted again early this week. Only a couple of you have gone back with questions. Again, that's absolutely fine. If you guys just kind of like just want to support me and what I'm doing and just chill and sit back, that is absolutely fine. But again, my attempt to sort of get you guys more involved, if you choose to. You don't have to. If you don't have any questions for me, that's absolutely fine. But it's, you know, I want to try and give back to you guys and get you involved and make you feel worthwhile and all that kind of stuff as part of the channel and blah de blah. So I do have a few questions that came from a couple of people. So here's my answers, and I guess that might be some of these will be interesting to you as well. So let's start off. Mark Honeyborn was the first to post a couple of questions, and the first question he asks is, I've got the sheet here, I wrote it out. What's your most prized possession in your AMSTRAD retro collection, and what item that you don't have would top that if you had it? Good question. Do you know, it's kind of hard for me to answer that really, because I'm not sure if I put one item above all others. So, I mean, as you can see behind me here, a very messy desk, I do need to clear it up, that I'm very, very proud of my AMSTRAD 6128 Plus there. And we have a 464 Plus sat on the wall there. Oh, an LCD game alarm's going off. And obviously we've got the 464 there, and that's my original 464 and 6128. I mean, just behind, and whether I can do this without some, yes, about, okay, this would actually feed in to the second question, which I'll read out now. And he also asks, do you own any tech to use on your original hardware, e.g. multi-face RAM expansion, Zaxxon, asks Mark. Well, we've got a few items here. Yes, I actually have a couple of multi-face 2s. There are various light guns, not the light gun I'd like. This one I talked about on a previous video. It's the SSA1 speech synthesizer. Oh shit, can I do that? Very hard getting this right here. And as you can see there, guys, the speech synthesizer comes with speakers. And these I had as a kid. This whole thing came with my AMSTRAD 464 when my mum and dad bought it me many years ago. And these, I plugged it in, and obviously not many, I didn't really use it for the speech synthesizer and all that. But those speakers were awesome. Okay, they're tiny, but the internal speaker in the 464 is a bit poop, if you're honest. Let's be honest. It's okay. It's very tinny and it's very mono. This gave you stereo sound, and when I plugged that in and used that for games, that stayed in there permanently. And so brilliant set of speakers actually that work really well. So that I'm very happy about that. I mean, let me show you on the shelf behind. You probably see at the top there. Look, boxed 6128 Plus, 464 Plus, boxed GX4000 consoles. But as you can see on the front of the shelves, there are kind of like my prize games on display. You can see there: Purple Saturday, Lemmings, Prince of Persia, Titus, Prehistoric 2, Blues Brothers, and more at the front here. So we've got my finger there, Darkman, eSWAT. They're just like two of my favourites actually. Not everyone likes them. Final Fight's quite rare. Adam's Family on disc, very rare. Outrun Europa, pretty rare as well. Gryzor on disc, very rare. And also behind me, of course, my big fat face, is my GX4000 collection there. Oh, actually, another rare disc game. I'm going to get my finger there. Just there on the middle shelf, it's BAT on AMSTRAD disc, and the English UK version, extremely rare. And also the GX4000 collection. So, just get the, oh, I've lost my questions. One sec. That's kind of like answers, bloody hell, to the questions in a way. So, kind of the whole collection of all those bits and bobs is my most prized collection. And there we do. Do I own any tech to use on original hardware? So yeah, you see there the multi-face and speakers. But I don't actually own any. Let's put that way. I don't actually own any sort of modern stuff, like for SD card readers for the AMSTRAD, or I haven't even got that bloody C4 CPC cart, which has like all the games converted to cart. Like you just plug it into GX4000 and stuff. Like, what the hell am I doing? But I will order that at some point. I actually have some new hardware coming. Actually, it's like from the 4 MHz team. It's all their games on like one ROM board, and I shall do a separate video on that. That should be arriving very soon. Fingers crossed. Other than that, I haven't really bought much modern hardware for old hardware, like the Zaxxon thing and stuff like that, because I like to play the original discs on the original computer, essentially. Now, because obviously I'm a guy that uses emulation a ton on my channel for streams and stuff like that, and there's a few people around on YouTube and stuff that go on about, oh, it must be real hardware and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to me just chilling out playing games, I like the original hardware and I like the original discs there. Also quite proud of my arcade cabinet, which is currently broken. Needs a new, basically, motherboard inside. There's some random bits and bobs there. You can see there might be notes and stuff. So I've got a bit of a collection going on there. that needs a good tidy up. But there you go. Oh yes, and the last part of that question was, what item that you don't have would top that if you had it? Chase HQ2 on the GX4000. Yeah, Chase HQ2 SCI, isn't it? Yeah, that's the answer. But my God, if it came on eBay, I wouldn't be able to afford it. So, well, probably could, because you've been very generous over time, you guys. But that money goes to keep supporting me and doing the channel, and you know, turning away DJ work and all that stuff I talked about before. So I wouldn't want to spaff away over £1,000 on one game. That's probably ridiculous now, especially with the family and a little baby Xyphoe that's toddling about soon. Okay. Next question, last question, and it comes from Novabug. Hey, Novabug. Chris Webley. He asks, if some of the games being made now for the CPC had come out back in the day, how much more of a success would it have been in your honest opinion? Woo! Maybe a little. Maybe a little. Because at the end of the day, the AMSTRAD came out after the Specky and Commodore 64, so it's always going to be fighting a slightly losing battle against them, because millions of people had already spent their money on their computers, and you know, not many of us in the 80s could justify selling what would be a current gen computer to buy another one, unless you were really rich, you know. And if you were, you'd probably be buying an Atari ST or an Amiga that was coming out, or the consoles are on the horizon as well at some point. I think it probably would have got it. It would have meant that the machine would have got a lot more respect. Might have generated some more interest. For example, I'm going to say Pinball Dreams, because actually that came out on the Amiga in 1992. But games make the computer. I'm not a killer. Every computer or console needs a killer app. But I wouldn't have seen anyone being able to understand and program something like the Pinball Dreams conversion onto the AMSTRAD in 1984 or 85. Programmers and stuff were still getting used to the machine. I mean, my God, if some genius came along and knew how to unlock all the secrets and tricks that have taken many, many years for people on the scene, from especially the demo coders, to unlock and find little tricks and all those things, compression and, you know, all that kind of stuff. If someone was able to do that right from the very start and chuck them out on AmSoft, well, yes, that would have made a huge difference probably. But at the end of the day, most people had spent their money already on Spectrums or Commodores, and upgrading to a different computer of a very similar spec is very, very unlikely. But AMSTRAD did very, very well for itself. They perhaps should have just got the 464 Plus and 6128 Plus out many years earlier. And, well, you know, even with that, I don't think it would not been increased its sort of success levels as much, but it may have been more respected later on down the line, because as AMSTRAD fans, for certainly in the early days of the internet, into the early to mid 2000s, we had to defend our machine a lot on forums and chat rooms and all that kind of stuff. You mentioned the word AMSTRAD in the late 90s, early 2000s, and everyone would be like, "Oh, it sucked, couldn't scroll, and terrible computer, slow," and all that kind of stuff. It's taken many years fighting the good fight, which is why I started the channel. One of the reasons I started the channel, to show off AMSTRAD games and how good they were. And now these days, I think it's fairly well respected, the AMSTRAD. And when people see stuff like the Batman demo from the Batman group and Pinball Dreams and R-Type remake and all that kind of stuff, the respect levels have changed for the machine, and that to me is a measure of a machine's success as well. It's now should be as respected as the Commodore 64 and Specky, and included in all those arguments as to which is the best computer. And there are probably arguments to be made for the AMSTRAD being the better out of the three, but also for the Specky, also for the Commodore 64, whatever. So there we go. Bit of a long-winded reply there. Happy to answer more questions on another vlog, so I'll post another thing maybe in a couple of weeks, going like Patreon Q&A number 2. Get your questions in. and I will answer them on the vlog like this. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say is something's happened to a very good friend of mine's channel. Most of you should have heard of Old Style Gaming. If you've been on any of the AM streams, you would have seen him in the chat. What a lovely, lovely dude. What a very generous dude as well. He's a really, really nice guy. He's been very supportive to a lot of people. I've only got to know of him recently because he wasn't an AMSTRAD guy, but we're slowly turning him into one. He's now bought an AMSTRAD and he comes in the AM streams and whatever. But he's just discovered this week that his channel has been entirely demonetized. And I got an email saying that it's been demonetized, like all of his videos, and no way of arguing it back. All of his videos demonetized for reused content. Now, OSG posts sort of gameplay footage. He doesn't talk over the videos. He usually has like a scrolling ticker message or something like that. And but it's him playing the games, recording the footage and uploading it, of course, so that he's not taking anyone else's from another YouTube channel. And he queried that, and he said, you know, there was an email he got after the demonetization for a copyright claim that arrived a few minutes later for an Amiga game he'd done a video of, and it was a claim on the Amiga music in it, which is a bit unusual, but I have had a couple of claims myself on video game music, and I've disputed them, and I've won. Winter Games has won for some weird reason. Anyway, and that was probably, we think that was maybe the trigger for YouTube deciding to demonetize the channel, and they removed his access to creator support, which is where you can actually just talk to a real person at YouTube about your problems on your channel. So there's no way of him arguing it back, and at the moment, so if you can, guys, do me a favor, go on, if you're on Twitter, go on Old Style Gaming's Twitter, and basically look at his tweets, retweet them and comment on them, especially the ones with YouTube and YouTube help in that tweet thread or whatever, and just hammer with them with like, this is disgusting, come on, sort it out, help this guy out, it's completely unfair, blah 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 blah. So let's help a brother out here, guys, if you can. Personally, I don't want to get involved because I don't want it to shine a light on my channel, but I'm going to do all I can to help him out by, you know, asking you guys to try and help him out and stuff like that. Which also means, guys, news about my channel. I have a lot of videos that have a copyright claim on them that are just going to, don't care, take my 10 pence ad revenue I'd earn from this video and just shove it up your bottoms, basically. But it does mean that there are a lot of videos there, and it has really scared me what happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go through all the copyright videos and just delete them and have a clean channel, basically. And there's a lot of them. Because years ago I used to use sort of background music a little bit. I wouldn't use like actual real music, pop or rock songs, although I did occasionally one or two. But I'd usually, like, for example, I did Nightbreed Longplay review, and I had like the movie soundtrack just really quietly in the background at like a volume level of like 5 out of 100, just subtly there, and that got a copyright claim, which I suppose is fair enough. But like, come on, really? You want to? That's a copyright claim that you want to do? Yeah. So I'm going to put a list of the videos either on Patron in a post or on the description of this video. So if you want to watch them before they get deleted, go ahead. I'm going to try and figure out what I'm going to do with them. Either open up a separate YouTube channel called Xyphoe Archive or something. RetroandLim.com have offered to host them because he doesn't give a crap. That's very kind of him. So I don't know, but I'm going to take them down over this next week or whatever and just delete them. Shame, but it means I'll have to redo quite a few of them. Some of them are the James Bond ones as well, so yeah, it's a shame. A lot of them had very huge amounts of views. There's one that's on like 200,000 views I'm going to have to delete, which is a shame, but what can you do? So there we go, guys, and it means that it's like, you know, it's very important that we have Patreon and stuff like that to support creators. So thank you very, very much. You know, if my channel gets demonetized and all that, I will solely have to rely on Patreon. So thank you for sticking with us, guys. I much appreciate that. I love you all, and I will see you around on the channel, Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. I love interacting with you guys as always. So hopefully see you next Friday on the AM stream, which will be my birthday AM stream. And take care, guys. All the best. Xyphoe out and all that. Cheers.